When you've slaved for hours building an Excel worksheet to look good and its calculations to work well, the last thing you want is for someone to come along and to accidentally wipe out some of that hard work. So if I'm looking at sales data 2013, I'm in the January sheet, I inadvertently click on the total for January cars sold. I could press delete on the keyboard and I've lost a formula. Now if I notice I've done it, I can undo and the formula will come back. If I don't notice and it's some time down the line, then that formula is gone and I've got to go through the process of building that again. So there are times when you wish to protect worksheets. Now in order to protect this January worksheet, I simply go to the Review ribbon and there's an option there to protect the sheet. So I give that a single click and then I have the option to add a password in. Now the password I would suggest is only recommended if the sheet is going to be shared with other people and you really don't want them to be changing anything. If it's just to stop yourself from accidentally breaking things, then I would recommend not having a password. Otherwise you'll have to enter it twice now as proof that you know it, and then enter it when you try and unprotect the sheet. So we'll leave it without a password. What we can then allow is things that we will let people do. So we will let them select lock cells, we'll let them select unlock cells. Now we'll look at the difference between locked and unlocked cells. Subsequently, we could let them format cells or format columns or format rows, insert columns, insert rows, etc. So there's quite a list of things that you will allow them to do. By default, if the tick's not there, they cannot do it. So let's leave the tick in insert columns, but not in insert rows. When I then click OK, this sheet, and only this sheet, this will only apply to January, not February, March and April, is now protected. And if I try to click and highlight, I can do that because I've allowed them to select cells. But if I try and actually make a change, I get an error message. It says the cell or chart you're trying to change is on a protected sheet. If you want to make changes, then you'll need to unprotect the sheet. You might need a password. Luckily, we haven't set one. However, the things I have let them do, which is the selection, and I've let them insert a column. So I could try insert column, and it quite happily lets them do that. But if they try to insert a row, the option is grayed out. So the things that they cannot do are effectively disabled. So if I go D and try and delete that column, I can't because I haven't enabled that as an option. If I then wish to unprotect the sheet so that I can go and do things, then I simply click Unprotect Sheet. And I'm back in and able to do everything. So I can get rid of that column. If we add the password, Protect Sheet, take that option out for Insert Columns this time, and we'll put a password on. We're then asked to confirm that password. And still, we cannot get in, make any changes, but we can select cells. If I then come to Unprotect Sheet, I need to know the password. And OK, and we'll be in, but if I put the wrong password on, password you supplied is not correct. So you need to know the right password. And the sheet is then unprotected. So the idea behind this protection for a sheet is effectively to not allow them in. The sheet protection is per sheet. So if you want to protect February, you would need to go into February and click Protect Sheet. OK. If you want to protect March, we need to go March, Protect Sheet. OK. Now you'll notice that when you do protect a sheet, a lot of options, if we click back at the Home option there, are grayed out. So those are things you cannot do with the sheet protected. Come back and unprotect the sheet, and those options on the Home ribbon are returned.